Yo, what's happening, guys? It's your boy Uncle P with another episode of BMF Combat Talk Show. Yes, guys, we're trying to be consistent and bring you guys as much as we possibly can. So we're talking Aljamain Sterling and the bantamweight division. So what's happening in the bantamweight division? So Sean O'Malley beat Aljamain Sterling to become the bantamweight champion. The problem we're having here is Dana White does not like Aljamain Sterling. But does that matter? No, it shouldn't matter. The reality is, Aljamain Sterling, just like every other champion, deserve to rematch for their title, especially if they've defended it before. Now, many of you can go and say, yeah, but then the problem is if you keep giving champions rematches, then every time they lose, they get a rematch. Guys, let's look at the Adesanya situation, for example. Adesanya lost against Pereira and got a rematch. That was 3 losses, 2 from kickboxing, 1 from MMA. That story was so amazing that Adesanya should have never been given a rematch. Pereira should have stayed a champion, fought somebody else, and given somebody else an opportunity. I would have loved to see Pereira versus Strickland. That means Pereira would have defended his title, probably fought Dricus du Plessis, and continued his reign for just a few more fights before he fought a wrestler who was going to dominate him on the ground, which would have probably been Hamzat or either Paul Costa. Those were fights that were going to be amazing in that middleweight division. But unfortunately, we will never see those fights. Damn it! Wouldn't you have loved to see Pereira versus Hamzat, Paul Costa, and every other fighter in that middleweight division? Wouldn't have that been amazing? But anyways, Pereira has moved on. Now, Aljamain Sterling is currently the number 1 bantamweight in the division since Sean O'Malley beat him. But this is my issue with this whole saga. Let's forget about the fact that Dana White has a problem with it. The bottom line is, Aljamain Sterling was able to defend his title twice. He won it versus Pirayan, which we all know and we all cried, no, the knee. Bottom line is, it was an illegal strike and he became champion. He proved himself by coming back and defeating him. So we can't take that away from him. And then he went furthermore and defended it versus Triple C, which was never an easy fight. Yes. Then he loses his title. Give the brother his chance to prove himself. Either he can regain his title or lose it, which then makes Sean O'Malley the baddest motherfucker in that division. That's my opinion. My opinion is, when a champion defends his title and he hasn't lost that, his first loss of his title is allowed the defense. But if he has lost the title before, just the way Adesanya had, then come on, let's move on. We're holding the division back. Why should Adesanya get multiple title rematches and then Sean O'Malley can't even get, Aljamain Sterling can't even get one? Now, with the Aljamain Sterling situation, we know it all has to do with the fact that Dana White does not like the guy. Fine. But then the problem with me is Sean O'Malley is going around now calling Marlon Vera, who is 6th in the division. He is leaving Corey Sandhagen, he's leaving Henry Cejudo, who is 3rd, and Marab, who is the 2nd in the division, who literally was supposed to be fighting for the title, and the only reason he wasn't fighting is because his friend Aljamain Sterling was the champion. They refused to fight each other. Guys, I'm all about giving everybody an opportunity, but honestly, why have a ranking if you're not going to respect it? It's simple. Aljamain Sterling deserved the title rematch, and if they're not going to give him the rematch, and Aljamain Sterling, which he is planning on doing, is planning on moving to the featherweight division, then at least have Aljamain Sterling versus Yair Rodriguez or Brian Ortega or Arnold Allen, literally the top 5 of the featherweight division. He can fight any of these guys because clearly Alex Volkanovski is looking for new meat, and he can't keep going to fight Max Holloway because Max Holloway is still sitting as the number 1 featherweight in that division, and the only person that Max is unable to beat is the champion, and we are tired of seeing that fight. We don't want to see that fight again. So it's simple. Either they give Aljamain Sterling back his rematch, and then Sean O'Malley proves that he is the baddest motherfucker in that division by beating him for the 2nd time, and then give him a fight versus Marab, because that opens up the division, because all these guys get an opportunity to fight for that title again. It makes sense. I don't know why we're trying to complicate this. The one person that does not deserve a rematch, honestly, is Adesanya. But the only reason I would like to see that rematch is because I know for a fact that bro threw away that fight. So I want him to get that rematch so that Dricus du Plessis or Hamzat Chimaya can come and whoop his ass and make a big statement. Because beating Israel Adesanya is not a small task unless he makes it easy for you. And like I said, I'm not backing down from the fact that I feel Israel Adesanya is literally sold that fight himself. Yeah, we all heard this interview and it felt like a nightmare, blah, blah, blah. I ain't buying that bullshit for nothing. But this is not about Israel. This is about Aljamain Sterling deserving a rematch. And I think he personally deserves it. I don't know what y'all guys think about it, because seriously, what's the use of having all this ranking if we are not going to respect it? What's the use? Imagine the champion going all the way to fight Marlon Vera, who is 6th. He hasn't even fought the number 5. He hasn't even fought the number 4 or the number 3. He's going all the way to the 6th because that person had beaten him. Okay, fine. So he fights Marlon Rivera and then Marlon ends up beating him. So Marlon becomes champion. Does that mean now Sean O'Malley gets a rematch? That's the 3rd time they're going to fight. So that's the 2nd time he's lost him. So Sean O'Malley doesn't get a rematch. He loses his title. So who does then Marlon fight? Does Marlon then fight Marab or Aljamain? Or does Aljamain then move to the featherweight division? See, it complicates things. Give the champion his rematch, and if he wins it, for sure, he made a statement. If he wins his rematch, he can then move to the featherweight division as a champion to face Alexander Volkanovski, which is a fight I'm sure we're all going to love to want to see. The problem is, Sean O'Malley, Conor McGregor, all these guys are fighters that, Dana White loves. And he can promote them, he can market them and make a lot of money out of them. So Dana White doesn't want to risk Sean O'Malley fighting Aljamain Sterling and possibly losing. Because if he loses and Aljamain moves to featherweight division, that leaves Marab as the number 1 contender. So he can't give Sean O'Malley versus Marab because he just came from losing. That means Marab is either have to fight Henry Cejudo. With everything that is happening with Triple C now, with the family and the sister, may her soul rest in peace. I don't think he's in fight camp or is going to be ready to compete at the moment. So that will leave Corey Sandhagen to face Marab. And then after Corey Sandhagen, then Peter Yan is basically the next, depending on how, the division keeps going. I understand the conundrum that Dana White finds himself in, but it's only a conundrum if he does not give Aljamain Sterling his rematch. Stop robbing these guys from the opportunity just because you got a personal beef with them. Guys, there's a lot to talk about in regards to the UFC, because John Jones is going to be fighting Stipe soon. Breno Moreno, Alexandra Pantoja's fight has also been announced. There's so many fights for us to talk about. So let's see you guys on the next episode. Guys, please do comment below. Let me know what you guys think about Sean O'Malley versus Aljamain Sterling. Should it happen? I personally think it should happen. And if Aljamain Sterling does win the title, we all know he's going to relinquish that title and move into the featherweight division. Seeing him fight Alexander Volkanovski will be amazing. And if Sean O'Malley beats him and remains champion, then Marab versus Sean O'Malley is going to be one crazy fight. Then Aljamain Sterling can go into the featherweight division and he's got Max Holloway. Imagine Max Holloway versus Aljamain Sterling. If Max Holloway beats Aljamain Sterling, oh man, then there's literally there's nothing. Max Holloway will always be that gatekeeper, because I'm sure none of us wants to see Max Holloway versus Alexander Volkanovski happen again. So if Aljamain Sterling beats Max Holloway, then we've got a title fight happening here. Or rather yet, have Aljamain Sterling just go into the featherweight division if he ends up beating Sean O'Malley as a former champion in the bantamweight division. Those just make more sense. Why is Dana White trying to complicate this? It's purely because he has a dislike for Aljamain Sterling, and that is very disgusting because, anyone who's been in that cage or anyone who's been in a ring, the hard work and the sacrifice that fighters put in to compete. So to have a promoter dislike you and hinder your career in this way, it's for me personally, it's just disgusting and disrespectful. Dana White needs to do what is right and give Aljamain Sterling his rematch, or give Marab that fight. Simple as that. You guys let me know what you guys think. I'm your boy. Peace.